Hi everybody, this is Anthony from Sanniecreates. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I have a tutorial for you. It is a request from one of my customers, and she wanted to make shaker tags for Christmas, and she wanted me to do a video on this. Okay, so I've already made one, and it is going to a journal for her mom. And this is from my It's Springtime kit. And yes, here in South Africa it is spring. So this one that I made, and then I'm going to make one for my Sage journal before I start my Christmas journal. But before I continue, I want to say hi and hugs to Judy Fenter and So Paper Crafts. I remember those two names. So what I have is one of the tags, not from the kit. Okay, so these are the sizes of tags you will find in my kits, but you don't have to, obviously buy my kits to know what size this is. So this is a cross. It is 1, 2, 3 and 3/4 of an inch, just almost 4 inches, if you could say that. Okay, just shy of 4 inches. And then across, how tall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 3/4 as well. Okay, and in centimeters, that would be let's see, it's about 9.5 centimeters by 9, just over 19 centimeters. Okay, so that's your measurements for your tag. I mean, depending on the size of your journal, that's a size you will make. So what I did is I used these as a template, and I then cut out a piece from my pattern papers, okay, of my kit. But you can cut out any piece that you want to. Then what I did is so you'll need a piece, a front piece, whatever it may be. You'll also need something for the back, okay, the back part. You will need some acetate, or in this case I used cellophane, and wasn't such a bad idea now that I think about it. And let's see, so I use cellophane that came out from my magnetic sheets, and because I used some yesterday, I am able to use this today. But let me tell you what I did, okay, so you have an idea. So this is the cellophane that comes out from my magnetic sheets. So it's already got a a closed edge on this side, and then this side at the bottom of the of the plastic sleeve. So what I did is I use these edges to my advantage, which means I only need to sew, I only need to bother about those 2 edges in terms of getting my stuff in. But it doesn't really matter. The reason I like to use it is because it aligns much better. Okay, so moving on, you use what you have. You can also use acetate. All right, so that is the other thing. Then this is the part I dropped all over my desk this morning. So I have very few of it. So I'm going to be using that. So they're just a bit of sequins and whatever I could find that is glitter kind of a thing, but flat at the same time. And then I use that, and then I use some stuff to embellish, and I use some ribbon and things like that. Okay, this is from Artemis. I can't remember who's that from. That is something I stamped out. Okay, let's get cracking. Oh yes, and then you can either take something that's square, obviously not a die, because if you have a die, it means that you can cut. Okay, so not square, but a rectangle. I think it will depend on the shape of your tag, okay, to be very honest. I think one good thing that you might be able to use is your acrylic blocks if you don't have a die cutting machine. And what you'll do in this case is that you will then take your acrylic block, your stamping block or something, and then just make your borders around this block, okay, or draw around the block, which should then give you a square which you would need to cut out. Okay, just the square you'll need to cut, not square, rectangle that you'll need to cut out. Right, so since I have a die cutting machine, I'm going to go ahead and use it. Okay, so given the measurements of the tag that I gave you, this rectangle is a little bit shy of 1, 2, 3. It's about 3 1/4. Okay, tall. So because it's going to be that way, 3 1/4 tall, and 1, 2, 2 1/4. Yeah, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 2 3/4 wide. Okay, so but before I do that, what I want to do is I'm taking it from scratch, meaning that I don't know what kind of papers you have or anything of the sort. Now this is a 120 GSM, and this is, I think, 150 or 160 GSM. All I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out a template as best as I can over here. Now I'm working with paper that is coffee dyed, so it is a bit warped over here, but so be it. All right, and then I'm going to just use this as a guide. Use it as a guide for me. If I can get that edge. Oopsie, no, that doesn't look nice. And oh, I'll take that out. And I will do some stenciling on it. Yeah. So I'm going to use this as a guide, okay, to be able to cut out. So I'm going to cut out my paper over here as well. This is pretty sturdy, I must say. I took the lighter one, but then I thought it was too light. Now I'm wondering if this is too sturdy and whether it's going to go through my machine. But now I've started the project, so we'll try, right? We'll try to see whether it goes in the machine. I can tell you one thing, my machine is a very old machine. It certainly likes acetate more than it likes this film kind of a thing. So it depends on your machine. But if you don't have a machine, that's fine too, because you can use double-sided tape instead of sewing, right? But this project is to sew, because I like the effect of it, okay? But I'll explain to you what you can do if you don't have a sewing machine, right? Okay, so there you go. You've got these two that you want to use. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my die cutting machine, and I am going to now go and cut on the top part of the tag. I'm not really measuring, as you can see. I'm just eyeballing that it's going to be right, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so here I am back after cutting this piece, and you can keep it because you can use it for something else. And then I'm just taking out the die now. Right, so this is what you will have. You will have something that looks like this. Now, okay, like that. So the next thing you want to do is you want to ink up this edge, because you are going to be placing the acetate paper, or the you know, the packaging paper now on this, right? Like that. One tip I'll give you is that please don't use anything that's bulky on this, and also anything that's too much of it, because what really happens, sorry, my nose is worrying me, is that you get the machine will you know, when you put it through your machine, you are going to find that it's not flat on your machine, so your machine does give you a little bit of an issue. Okay, so this is what you're going to do here. You're going to place this. There's the closed edge here, and I use the closed edge on this side here. Now, let me just give you instructions of what you would do if you were not going to sew it. Okay, right. So if you were going to sew it, I'll show you what I'm going to do now. But if you were not going to sew it, then what I suggest you do is you open it up, right? And very carefully you put your double-sided tape inside, right? Very carefully, you put your double-sided tape inside, but you must ensure that your double-sided tape is as close to the window as possible, but without showing. So you'll put your double-sided tape on this side, this side, this side, and then you'll leave that for now, because you'll need to add your, your goodies in it, right? So that's what you would basically do. The other thing you can do is you can open up this completely, and it will make putting your double-sided tape a little bit more easier for you. And that would work perfectly fine, meaning slit it over here and there. Basically, you're going to have two pieces of this that are not attached to each other. In my instance, I can have them attached to each other because I'm going to be sewing it. The other thing you need to understand is that try to have your double-sided tape or your stitching as close to the window as possible, but with the double-sided not showing, because where your double-sided tape is where it creates that boundary for the beads not to slide anywhere else. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to get this in place, and then I am going to go and get it sewn. All right, so I'm just adding some clips for me to be able to sew. Now you'll see that I'm doing it a little differently. I'm going to sew this on 3 sides first, then put my beads in, okay, and then do that, instead of putting my beads in right now and then taking it to the sewing machine and then struggling with it when I get there to be able to put to move the beads around to make it flat, if you get what I mean. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissor and I'm going to trim off here, and if I can, straight. Yeah, I must say that if you work with what's this word, acetate, it's much better. It's much better because you do get a more, what's the word I'm looking for, you got more control of it, and you do get a tag that is more sturdier. Okay, but I'm looking at people who don't have acetate in there. I've got lots of acetate, but I'm looking at those people that don't have acetate in their stash and what they can use in the interim. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to go and sew. But there's my opening here. There's my opening here, right? I'm not going to sew my opening shut. I'm going to sew here, here, and here. The other thing you want to do is when you start your stitching off here and when you end it off over here, make sure that you start it in such a way that when this line comes across that it meets it. Okay, just for neatness sake, I would say. All right, so as I mentioned, my machine hates the stuff, so when I started it off, I think a little shorter here, and I also started sewing on this side instead of sewing on this side, so I got a little bit ugly stitching on that side over there, but hey, it doesn't really matter. It's okay. So yesterday I cleaned up this place, and now the one thing I want to use, I can't find it. But nevertheless, let's continue, right? I'm going to see whether this works. Give me a few seconds. Maybe I can find it. I'll show you the tool that I use. Okay, so it seems like this video was not supposed to be made because everything that could go wrong is going wrong today. Okay, so I'm just cutting off my edges. You don't want your edges, you don't want the material to be or the threads to be showing. Now if you look at that, it does pucker a little bit, right? It does pucker a little bit because of how thin this tape is. So now this here is meant for, apparently it's meant for, that doesn't come out like that. This comes out separately. But anyway, it is meant for your nails, kind of your nails. But I thought, what a cool idea, because I can use it for my crafting, and that's what I do. So all I'm gonna do is, see, it dropped on my desk. Yeah, my desk is not neat, okay, but I just cleaned up the mess that I did have. Okay, so then to do that, and then I'm going to find the hole here, and I'm gonna throw it in like that. Okay, so these my my double side, I mean my stuff, and I can see a piece of whatever in here. So yes, I got it off my desk, so there were pieces of stuff over there. So yeah, so now I've got it in. Can you see that? I've got it in now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do that one last stitch over there across, right? And I'll be back. All right, so there's my card here with all the lovely threads showing through. So if you're a thread person, you might want to keep the thread only on the front and not on the inside, because that could show through when you are actually, you know, putting the entire thing together. So now this thing is not going anywhere because it's in there. Right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this that you've made, and you are going to now put it together. And at this point you can glue it together, or you can sew it together over here. It doesn't really matter. But if you are gluing, remember that you are going to be gluing here, here, here. Okay, nowhere inside the acetate or the packaging, right? But I am not going to be gluing. I'm going to be sewing this. So I am going to just put it now. If you are sewing it, it is a little bit more difficult. The reason is now you've got bulk over here. Okay, so your machine doesn't quite like it. Well, my machine doesn't quite like it. Mine is a very old machine, but it has sentimental value because it was my late dad's machine. Right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to sew around this. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back to you. Great, so there it is. It's all done for the most part now. So that is how you would make a shaker tag, and the rest of the video is going to be about how I am going to embellish this. Okay, so I do have some things here quickly that I want to embellish with. Now what you will notice is that sometimes your tag does get you know, offline over here. For example, there's a tiny little part over here that is no more you know, together. I can't find the word. Well, they out of line, they misaligned. That's kind of a thing. So all you need to do is you just go in and you trim it out. See that tiny little piece over there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit embellishments on it. So ladies, how are you? I haven't chatted to you during this video, so just want to know how you're doing. And are you crafting? Are you crafting? And are you Christmas crafting? I know somebody asked me, when am I going to do my Christmas crafts, you know, whatever. So the reason I didn't get onto the Christmas crafts as yet is because I did promise some of you ladies that I was going to do a few things on video for my Sage journal, and the rest, so I did a little flip through of what I have done on my video, on my Sage journal at the moment, and I mentioned that quite a few things are either, well, one thing I think was a Friday freebie, the other thing was what's this word? I think somewhere idea books, you know, from my idea book and stuff like that. So I felt comfortable in flipping through it and telling you, listen, this was from an idea book video or whatever the case may be. But I can't go and do that for every single page I create. I can't create a video because, as you know, I decorate most of my pages if you see my flip through. Right, so now what we want to do is we want to get the center of this tag so that we can put some kind of ribbon in it. So 4, 8, 12, and that is 16 over there. Yes, I'm using my line. So no, it's not 16, it's 15. I lie something, so it's 7.5, about 7.5 there. Okay, so yeah, so as soon as I think from next week I will start doing my Christmas journal. The only point, oh my greatness, that was so crooked. I spoke to you ladies and I punched the wrong hole. Oh my greatness, what do you think about that? I didn't get it where I wanted to. This tag is just not working out, is it? So let's see if I can rectify that by doing something like that. Now, does that look even center? Does that look center? I'm gonna do it. It's not even center, but it's okay. So what I was going to do is I was going to make it with these eyelets, but these things happen. Okay, these things happen, so you can beat yourself up about it or you can move forward. I didn't see I didn't look carefully at the dot. I created the dot, but I didn't look at it. So change of plan, I'm going to actually add maybe this little piece of look, this little piece of lace in it there, so it kind of camouflages the fact that I made a boo-boo like that. Okay, like that. And then if I knew that I was going to do this, I would have definitely sewed it all together. So I'm going to have to take it to the sewing machine to sew. But if I don't, you know, if you don't have a sewing machine, then all you're going to do is put a staple on it and it will be fine. I normally do that, put the staple on it. But for now, just so that it stays in place like that, I'm just putting some fabric glue on it because I don't think I want to, you know, pause the video again. Okay, so you see, sometimes these things happen, ladies, you know, but hey, it is what it is, and you can recover from something. Don't go and throw your paper away. No. Okay, so I'm just putting this over here now. Right, so let's move forward. So I've got this that I want to use. Like that. And I want to add it here. Like that. And I want to put that over there. Okay, so fabric glue, let's get started. So here's some fabric glue. So the best thing about this journal card is that it's pretty, it's decorative, but you can use it as well. Because why is that the back of this card has a whole lot of writing space on it if you look at it, so you can use it as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put it in my journal as a flip spot. Okay, I'm going to add it to my journal as a flip spot with some washi tape. like that. Right, and we'll come back and sort the edges out there. And then let's add this. I didn't even check whether this is going to fit. Okay. Oh, tried not to block the word, but didn't do such a good job. Let's just take it out again before it's, you know, it goes down completely. And then over here, I'll add some of this glue there. Now around the corners. So you can add it here. Like that. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and add the rest of the glue over here. Like that. Okay, and then let's finish it off with some pretty bling. So this journal calls for some bling. So why not add some bling? Not too much, you know, I'm not excessive with my bling and stuff like that, but enough to make it pretty. So let's go for the big ones. There's 2 here. Oh, come on. It's always the decorating that takes the most time. Did you notice that? Well, this project is what we can officially call done. That's how one of your shaker cards could look, okay? Obviously, you know, you can do whatever you want to with it. It all depends on your style, okay, at that point in time. And, you know, what journal you're decorating it for and things like that. So, that's how I make my shaker cards. Because I have a sewing machine, I do sew it. However, as I mentioned to you, it is not necessary for you to sew this. So ladies, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. I think I mentioned to you that you know, I'm trying my best to start getting noticed more on YouTube, and your thumbs up and your comments really help me to get noticed. I put in a lot of effort like other you know, ladies, and I do appreciate when you comment, and I do appreciate your thumbs up and things like that. So this is not sticking nicely, so this it's sticking over there, okay? And you know, you can add as much or as little as you want to in terms of decor. So what I will do is I'll use some washi tape, and then I'm not going to put it now because remember I need to stitch that. I'll just add this as a hinge to the back of my journal card so that it becomes a flip, okay? And that's it. That's it. I hope that you really like this this video, and that you are definitely going to try it, whether it's for Christmas or not. It's a pretty decoration in your journal. Bye ladies, take care. Lots of fun from lots of love from me, Santhony at Sunny Creates, and have yourself a blessed week until I see you again on Friday with a Friday freebie. Your Friday freebie is definitely going to be related to my latest kit. Sorry, I'm looking for my shoes. My latest kit that I released, which is my very vintage Christmas. And next week, I will be releasing my rustic Christmas kit. Bye-bye. Take care.